G'day all, it's Colin from PCTLC and thanks for joining me. Today I'm going to install MXLinux release candidate 1. So let's get into it. Start the installer. Now MXLinux installer is quite simple, but also a little bit different to the others that you're probably used to. So what we need to do here is choose the disk we're going to use for installation. So I've got the SDB, which is the USB that MXLinux is running off of. So I need to use my SDA, which is on the computer. I don't want to auto install. I want a custom because I want to install to a particular partition. So here I'm going to use SDA2. You'll see there's an existing MX17 on there. I did a recording and then I restarted without saving my recording, so I had to do it again. These things happen, I suppose. Swap, 8 gigabytes of swap there, and home partition is going to be root, which is where the system is being installed. I've got no existing home partition, so I'm not going to choose that. I'm not going to worry about that. And change default root partition label, which is what comes up here. So whatever you change that to is what it'll look like when it comes up, and mounted as something, that'll be the name of it. So file system ext4. Let's go next. Okay to format, yes. As you can see, if you look at the Conky up here, it's the memory is running at 1.13, which is I'm doing a recording, I'm installing, so I'm running quite a few things here, and that's about the same as most distros that I running idle on a cold boot. So as you can see, it's pretty low on resources, which you would expect it to be anyway. MXLinux does run very well. So it's copied that over. Now, it doesn't give me a choice of which disk to install the grub to. It's just the main SDA disk. So what I'm going to do is uncheck this. So if I uncheck that, it will not install grub anywhere. I will do an OS prober and a grub update on my main system on this computer to pick up this install for the grub menu. So if I wanted this operating system to control the grub, then I would install directly to SDA, but there's another operating system running that, so I'm just going to uncheck that and click next. Computer name, I'll call it Colin MX. Workgroup, yes. Locale is English AU. System clock uses local. Only if you're dual booting with Windows, I believe you check that. Otherwise, if you're not dual booting with Windows, you can leave that. And my time zone is Australia, Perth. Australia, Perth. Next. Default user login should be all lowercase. User password. And then you got your root password, which they recommend should be different from your user. You can use the same password, but it's not recommended. Now, I don't need to show passwords. I don't want to encrypt my home folder. I don't want to auto log in at the moment. Now, if I had been, this is running default, by the way. I haven't touched anything here. But if I was to do a few tweaks on this and I actually liked the way it was looking, I could actually click that and save live desktop changes, and when you boot into your new system, then you don't have to bother tweaking around because this will save it. The user password entries do not match. I've done something wrong there, haven't I? I'll start again. God, don't know what I've done there. Busy talking, distracting myself. Let's try that. So that's the end of the install. Click finish there. And I will see you on the other side of the install. Right, so I'm logged into MXLinux17, release candidate 1, and haven't touched anything yet. Just thought I'd get the screen recorder up and running. Actually, the simple screen recorder was installed from the live disk, so I didn't ask it to save anything, but it was still installed once I booted up, which was pretty handy. So that was a bit of a surprise. I didn't have to muck around with that. Installing it was already done for me. So let's just have a quick look around. First thing I will do is go to MX Tools. We want to tweak, I think, the panel, yes. And I will put I don't want it vertically. Display panel horizontally on the bottom, apply. That looks good. I won't bother with we can install Codecs. Okay. Installed successfully. Now I've got an NVIDIA on here, but I'm not going to bother with that at the moment. Now the Conky, I believe there's a, oh there we go, there's a Conky Tweak, so you can actually tweak the color of your Conky. So if we was to change the white color to say, let's just go for pink as an example. And there we go, the time is pink. Let's just give it a shade of pink. There we go. And we have plenty of other Conkys in the system. The original configuration was backed up to home, colin.conky, mx default, okay. Conky Manager. So that allows you to have a look at different Conkys installed here. We have a preview. Okay, some of them aren't previewing, that's why. So let's just arrow down with these ones and have a quick look at them. I think the Gotham is the best though, to be honest. Those ones don't have previews for some reason. That's pretty fancy. So there's some really quite a lot of Conkys to choose from anyway. So that's pretty handy. If you like Conky, that's handy. Quick system info. Let's have a look at that. All right. So that's the system specs there. So what we have here is a package installer, granted permissions without asking for password because I've already put in a password, so that lasts, I think, for the whole session, I believe. So you've got a lot of audio to choose from, browser, things for your children, development, docs, Cairo doc, Docky, Plank, Thunderbird's installed by default. So as you can see, there is a lot here. Now if we want to go to a full app catalog, we can go to stable, MX test repo, or Debian backports. Now whichever one you choose depends on what you're after. If you're after something that's actually not in here, you would probably have to find out where it is on Debian, whether it's on the Debian backports or the MX test repo or the stable repo. And then once you know where that is, then you'll be able to search for what you're looking for if it's in any of those repos. So you got your stable, MX test repos, and your Debian backports. So as it says, grayed out items have already been installed. You can hide the library and developer packages. So there's a lot of dependencies and all sorts of apps in here, so it would have to be specific to something that you want that's actually not in the MX popular applications to be going to the full app catalog. I reckon that they're pretty much nailed most of the standard things out of the box. You've got window managers. I'm not keen on installing window managers over the top of another one. Normally there's gets a bit confused normally when you're doing that. You've got videos, OpenShot, SM Player, KDN Live in the repos there. So I reckon if you're installing this for a user who's just the average user, I think you got more than enough in the popular apps to cover those people. So plenty here. Now in here we've got the Arrage. I prefer to have the date time, that's the one. So that's remove the one I just put there. Yep. Let's remove this one as well. Yep. Let's add new items, date time. Add that. Okay, so as you can see, it's quite small and it has two layers or two lines. So we go to properties. Let's figure out which one we want. We want time then date, date only, date then time. Let's go time then date. Now, time format. Prefer short one like that. And the time is like that. Now, what we're going to do is go custom. Sorry, it's date only. Date only, so we'll go for the date here. And then the time we go, if we like this one here. So then we choose that and we go custom. That's the command for that. So we've got the date, I think the date was correct, 10th of March 2018. So what we do is we copy this, we put a little asterisk or a couple of dashes or something like that in a space, and then we paste that in. Then we close that. Now we've got the date time. Well, now what we need to do is up the, we can give it a different look, a bold look, and up the, let's go to about 16, select that, and there we go. 10th of March 2018, 2:45 p.m. So that's how you change date and time. And I like this calendar better. It looks a bit just slightly more modern than the other one, than the Araj one. Either way, they're both pretty good. I just think that looks a bit more modern. We've got single click happening here by default. Now the other thing we have here is a create URL link. So if we was to create a URL link, now I'll go to my favorite computer store, I'll call it PLE. Give it a https www.ple.com.au. And I need an icon, so I'm going to have to go gather an icon for that. Images, PLE, icon PNG. PLE computers. There it is. Save image as, we'll put it in pictures, PLE, yeah. Save that. So select an icon for that. Image files, pictures, PLE, okay, and create. So what we've done is we've created a link, mark executable, and that'll take you straight to the website in question. So that's how you create a link. Now I'm trying to somehow place this on the menu. So I don't know how we can do that. We can put it down, we can drag it here, we can create new launcher. We can do that. So the best way to do this, to overcome this problem, is to, well actually let's go to the package installer and see if it's in there. Let's try and use the GUI tools. Not sure if people really like me using the terminal too much. So Menu Libre is not there. So let's go. So here we go. We'll go to the stable repo and we'll have a look in there. Menu Libre. There it is in the stable repo. So let's install that. Process finished successfully. So we'll have another look in the menu. There's menu editor there. Add a launcher. Image file. Navigate to that picture there, yep. Call it PLE. Computers. Command will be Firefox. It's the command, so that's all looking good, and we'll save that. So what we've got now under Internet is PLE computers. And there we go. So now that's in. So from the menu, you now got the flexibility to add to the desktop, add to panel, whether it is here, down the bottom right hand corner, or add to favorites, which is here when you first open up. So that gives you full flexibility. Now, if we're using Google Chrome, that would be, this command here would be Google-Chrome-stable space and the same. And Chromium, I think, is just Chromium. If you want to know, and I show this in all my videos just in case. So file system, user, share, applications, type Firefox to find it quickly. There it is there. So if we right click that and go to properties, launcher, command is Firefox. %U is just to do with the system, but this is the command here, Firefox. So if you want to know the command of anything else, just go to properties, go to launcher, Thunard-settings for that one. So there you go. So you can Clementine, properties, launcher, it's Clementine. So you can make shortcuts that way. So I don't like, it's handy. I just want to know whether we can actually create this link in the menu itself. I'm not sure, because it's quite handy, because all you got to do is just put the, you don't have to type Firefox in here. It uses the default browser anyway. So you just have to type the, copy and paste the URL that you want to go to. But I don't know whether you can somehow create it somewhere else. Be handy if it can be created in the menu, because I don't like stuff all over my desktop. That's the only difference there. Let's delete that. Delete that. Remove that. And remove that. We have some updates pending. So full upgrade, yes. This box turns green, so when you see this here, the update thing, just press the button that's got the green package thing on it. It's the same, it just updates your system. So it's upgraded, we closed, just press enter, done. Speaking of updates, we just have a quick look at the update manager. So if we left click this little update thing here, it'll open Synaptic Package Manager. However, if we right click, we have a few options here. Check for updates and so forth, but preferences is what we're interested in. Now the preferences, you can upgrade, you can change the upgrade mode from full upgrade to basic upgrade. The left click behavior. Other options, automatically answer yes to all prompts during full and basic upgrade, automatically close terminal when full basic upgrade completes, check for auto removable packages after full basic upgrade, and also this one here, update automatically, which will not add or new or remove existing packages. So that's an auto update. So that's pretty handy if you want to automate some things. I'll just keep it as default for now. Just have a quick look at the kernel version. Uname space -a, and there's your kernel version there. While we're on updates, we'll just open up Firefox and have a quick look at the about Firefox 58. So I've done a video on the XFCE desktop, so everything's pretty much the same. I won't get too much into a lot of things in here, because if you really want to find out a lot of things to do with this operating system itself, you need to visit Dolphin Oracle, because his videos are much more comprehensive and he's just an expert at this operating system. So I just thought I'd install it, set it up, and have a quick look at what's going on in here. Right, what we're going to do now is we're going to have a look at adding Compton. So we're going to go to the MX tools. I'm going to go to the tweak. I'm going to change our compositor to Compton. Apply that. Now, what you'll see has happened here is it's created a shadow around the Conky window. Now, normally, in the past, I've fixed this by editing the Compton.conf file, and there would be a shadow, exclude shadow, and you'd put Conky in here with a class G, such and such Conky. But what I'm finding now is when I do that, the screen tearing comes back. So, and just in case you want to know where the Compton, this file here is also this one here, which is under Home. So if you go to View, Show Hidden Files, so View, Show Hidden Files, .config, Compton.conf, that's the same as in this tweak tool here, edit Compton.conf, that's what you're editing. So that's no good, that doesn't work because it'll clear the shadow, but then you get your screen tearing back. So what I've found is that if we go to the Conky itself, which in MX they've got the little tools to do that. So we go to Conky and then we go to edit. Now what we need to do is add these two onto this. Oh, it's here, isn't it? So we need to add these two here, copy and paste those, copy and own window, so that's what it's called, own window. So go to the bottom, press enter and paste, save. Now you'll see the shadow is gone. So that we'll close that. Close that. Now if we go to check our screen tearing, there it is. My screen tearing is gone, and so has the shadow on the Conky. So what I was doing before is trying to fix the shadow in the Compton.conf file, but that used to work, but it no longer does. So if you don't have this Conky, then, or if you remove it, then it doesn't really matter, but that's the fix to sort that out. And I've rebooted and started again and tried it again, and it's actually, the setting is holding, so that's all working good. So we're going to have a quick look at the apps installed on MX. So I'm just going to scroll to the bottom. Normally the most exciting stuff is at the bottom, really. I don't normally go through all these things. I just want to point out what's installed that's maybe important. System profilers help you have a look at what the system has got. It's pretty comprehensive, that one. It's got Synaptic by default, SM-Tube. SM-Tube, I've got MX16 running on an old 32-bit computer that's got 1.5 gigs of memory. Now this SM-Tube and MX16 on that computer, very low on resources, runs great. So, and this SM-Tube works really well. So for older computers, this is really handy. I installed Simple Screen Recorder. It's got Sumber installed. PDF Shuffler. I've done the PLA Computers one, as you're well aware. It's got a note-taking app, all your MX tools, Midnight Commander. That is like a graphical file manager with a graphical file manager within your terminal. So you can use arrows, a keyboard, or mouse as well with that one. It's quite handy. I installed Menu Editor. Mail Reader, I think they're using, it looks like the Geary icon, that one. It's got some games. Light DM Greeter settings, which is handy. Full LibreOffice. iDevice Mounter. HTOP by default. GUBC by default. Some games. Hex Chat I don't use. Grub Customizer is handy if you want to customize, get rid of some of the rubbish that comes up on first boot with your grub. GIMP by default. GNOME PPP dial-up tool. Oh, that's, geez, people still using dial-up. An MTP client for MP3 players. GDB package installer. Conky Manager, Conky Toggle, Scene, Clementine by default. That's a game as well. Catfish File Search. And that's pretty much it. And Asunder, it's got Asunder, where was that? Asunder CD Ripper. That's quite a good CD Ripper actually. I've used that quite a few times, really good. I normally used to use Sound Juicer, but this Asunder does work quite well, I must say. Games. So that's about it. So just one quick look at MX Tools. I've showed you the Codecs installer. I've done something with the Conky, the Tweak. So the Tweak, you got your panel settings, your window manager settings, and your appearance, which is also in your settings manager, appearance, window manager, and panel settings here. So that's just a couple of the most used ones within the settings. Theme, you can change your theme. MX17 dark, let's apply that. Oh, let's do a preview first, there you go. Let's apply. Okay. I've showed you the compositor, how that works. You can reset your Light DM login to system defaults and custom right click to system defaults, it's handy. And single click on desktops, you can change that to double if you want, just uncheck that. Let's just go back to the theme and go back to light for a bit. It's better. Network assistance, if you've got network problems, you're welcome. Popular apps, which is your popular apps, which I've already looked at the start, but that's where you find it when you first start. And go through that, install what you need. Tweak panel, which is part of your MX Tweak. Tools, which is what we're looking at, and Tweak is that one there, which is in the welcome screen as well. Now, most importantly, videos in the welcome screen will take you to videos on the MX community. There's MX17 videos here, what's new, and how to do certain things, and let's just click that. I'm pretty sure that'll take you to Dolphin and Mrs. Oracle. So he's awesome, he's a nice guy, I've watched him a lot, and he knows what he's talking about when it comes to this system. So I'm not even going to try and pretend I know as much as what he does, because he's pretty good. You got your user manager, You can do certain things here, use a login name, password, so you're adding a user, change a user, delete a user, modify user accounts, copy and sync stuff from within your home folder and so forth, free up space, add, remove groups, group memberships. That just depends what you're doing. If you need to use those tools, I'm sure you can find a video on that. Your repo manager, which you probably, I'm not going to mess around with that. Package installer we've seen. Fix GPG keys. Quick system info we've seen. Snapshot, you can make a snapshot of your system. You can see Dolphin Oracle for that stuff. Live USB Maker, he's got a video on that as well. I'm not quite sure how to use that. I wouldn't mind making one of those. Very handy to carry around with you. So I might do that one day. And boot repair if you've got booting problems. Menu editor we've seen. I just showed you the user manager. So quite a few little tweaks there, and a very handy tweak tool as well. So let's have a look next at USB removal. So we have a nice little tool down the bottom here on the panel for ejecting USB. So it says here, double click to unmount, double click, and flash drive is safe to remove. So let's remove that. Nice little message there. That's cool. So that's a quick look around. Well, a semi-quick look around. It's sort of like a little bit longer than quick, but that's a look around the MX17 RC1 release candidate 1. So I hope you found it informative, and thanks for watching.